Alright, so I'm a little under the weather, so it's gonna sound a little bit off. But anyways, this is the NAFC, baby. Right, so the NAFC was founded in 1946. And you'll never guess how many countries were involved. I'll give you 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. The answer is 4. There were only 4 nations in the federations. These countries included Canada, Cuba, Mexico, and the US. However, right off from the start, you could see this organization would not stay up for long. If you take a look at the year of when this federation was created, it formed after a major global event. Football itself had halted in many nations, so this was a starting from scratch format for this specific region. Once the NFC became official, the organizations created the NAFC Championship Tournament. The first to take place was in 1947, and it was held in Havana, Cuba. It was contested between Cuba, Mexico, and the US. Canada didn't participate, and I couldn't find out why. So if anybody ever finds this video and they can have an answer, please write it down. Where was I? Oh, yes. Also, the US didn't form a team from the tournament, and instead sent an amateur soccer team called Ponta Delgado Soccer Club from Massachusetts. So, great start to this tournament. Mexico beat both Cuba and the US with a score of 1-3 and 5-0 respectively, and won the first ever NAFC championship. Cuba took second place after beating the US 5-2. The second NAFC championship took place in 1949. The teams, once again, only included Cuba, Mexico, and the US. Canada again didn't send a team, and once again, I couldn't find out why. And, So this tournament would serve as the region's qualifying process for the 1950 World Cup, meaning first place and second place would advance to the World Cup. The NAFC would elongate the tournament because of this, and each team would have to play each other twice. In this tournament, Mexico would continue to show no mercy, as it would go on to retain the championship after beating the US 0-6 and later 6-2, while it would beat Cuba 2-0 and then 3-0. The US would end in second place after tying Cuba 1-1 in its first match, but later beating Cuba 5-2. After this tournament, the NAFC Championship basically ceased to exist. The North American nations tried to bring it back in 1990, but it was underwhelming in terms of interest that it once again was scrapped after only 2 editions. And since it's only 2 editions, I'll talk about them right now. The 1999 North American Nations Cup was hosted by Canada. The US and Mexico were the other competitors. Cuba is no longer regarded as a North America zone team, so they were not invited. It was a single table, 1 match against each team format. Canada would win its first and only NA championship after beating both Mexico and the US. The 1991 edition, its final one, was hosted by the US. Mexico would win its third and final NA championship after beating the US on goal difference. For the following years, until the merger with the CCCF, Canada, the US, and Mexico wouldn't do much in their region. Only Cuba would stay somewhat active, as it would participate in the CCCF Championship Tournament. But the World Cup would start back up for the 1950 edition, and from then to the 1962 World Cup, the CCCF and the NAFC still had qualifiers for the World Cups. And that's what we're going to talk about now. From 1962, moving on forward, well, actually from 1950 and forward, the North America World Cup qualifiers. See you on the next video.